Welcome to Vitamin G Reviews. Today we're going to be doing a watch review. So out of my collection, we're going to be looking at this guy right here, which is the Invicta Men's 8932 OB Pro Diver Analog Quartz watch, and it is stainless steel with a black dial. So this watch, the Invicta watches are kind of rather interesting, and they're very polarizing because they're kind of very clearly trying to do the Rolex look. Now they're not the only brand that does this. Pretty much every diver is in one way or another, trying to pull off the Rolex look. So I don't begrudge Invicta for doing that. And this is kind of an interesting watch. Now I don't wear this watch very often, and the reason is because it is a 38mm watch. Which on my wrist is just a little bit too small. So I have a 7.5-inch wrist, which is just over average. 7.25 is average. So I don't have huge wrists, but I have just slightly above average size wrists. And this to me is a little bit small. Now it doesn't look bad, and I do wear it from time to time. But I really think that 39 to 41 or 42 is a little bit better for my wrist size. And I don't like big chunky watches, but 38 tends to be a little bit small for me. So this is a Quartz watch, and so what I do like about Quartz movements is they don't need to have that automatic space. So if you see this little lip at the bottom, that's all that needs to hold is a battery. Whereas if you look at my other Invicta diver, this one's an automatic, and this one you'll see it's actually skeletonized. It's kind of cool. There'll be a review of this one coming up. But this one's got a bigger chunk there at the bottom, which is housing that automatic movement. So, obviously automatic movements are more desirable, and they're, higher, they're much more difficult to manufacture, and they require a lot more skill and craftsmanship than a Quartz movement. But then, one of the nice things about a Quartz movement is that it's very efficient with the space. So you end up with a dive watch that's quite a bit thinner than your typical dive watch. So Invicta makes a bunch of different variations of this watch, and they sell a ton of watches in general. So this watch in particular, they're selling about 5 a day, which is good for them, but overall they're selling tons of watches, and they just have a million different variations of all the different dive watches. So I always go with stainless steel. My main concern with a watch like this, I'm already kind of doing a bit of a faux premium watch thing, because it already, it has the magnifier and yada yada, it already is kind of looks like more than a $58 watch, which by the way, the price of this is $58.41 at the moment. The price varies a bit. The cheapest I ever saw it though was $44.99, and it was for a single day. It was February 9th of this year. Most of the time you're looking at about $57. For a little bit it was $70. If you can find it for around $50, that's great, but really I would plan on paying $55 to $58 for this. So I'm already paying $50 or $60 for a watch that looks like it's more than $50 or $60. Now on top of that, I don't want to add like a faux gold thing, right? So they have a lot of either solid gold looking, or they'll have the gold down the middle. And they have different variations of that. I always just go with the stainless steel because I'm already faking it enough. I don't need to be pretending like I'm wearing a solid gold watch when it's stainless steel. So the dial on this really works quite well, and it's a very nice, satisfying click, and it lines up pretty well. There are even some Rolexes that don't line up that well. But as you can see, it's a nice Quartz movement. You don't have the nice sweep of an automatic, but that's something you pay for when you get an automatic. When I'm looking at men's watches on Amazon, you're not looking for necessarily the big hitter brands. There aren't going to be, well, there are APs and Pateks and yada yada. But if you're getting an AP or a Patek, you're probably not getting it on Amazon. Amazon watches are going to be these kind of off e-commerce brands, and so Invicta is one of the classic e-commerce brands. And I like what they're doing. For $50 or $60, you have a good looking watch, and whether it's Quartz or automatic, no one's gonna know. You're gonna be the only one who realizes it. Anyone who knows the difference, anyone who can spot the difference between a Quartz or an automatic movement is already gonna know that you're wearing a fake watch. So at that point, whether your Invicta watch cost $70 because it was automatic or $50 because it was Quartz, you have to decide for yourself whether you think that's worth it.